Hello, dear friends, and welcome back to Kingdom Principles with Reverend Dr. Pook. So today, we're talking about the called and the chosen. In Matthew chapter 22, verse 14, Jesus said something very striking. He said, "Many are called, but few are chosen." Let's look at two Old Testament prophets who were called, and let's see how they responded to their call. The first is Moses. So Moses was the great prophet who led the children of Israel out of Egypt, out of the land where they were slaves. How did this happen? So Moses initially made an attempt to help his people by killing an Egyptian who was maltreating one of them. That backfired. When Pharaoh heard, Pharaoh wanted his head. So Moses had to flee Egypt and settled in the land of Midian, where he got married and had a family. While working as a shepherd in Midian, Moses one day saw a strange sight. He saw a bush burning but not being consumed. So he came closer, and then God called to him in the burning bush. And God told him that he has heard the groanings of his people and is sending him back to set his people free. Moses protested the first time. Moses said, "God, how do I talk to Pharaoh? How do I convince him to set the children of Israel free?" God said, "Don't worry, I will be with you. I will grant you the success." Moses protested a second time. He said, "How do I convince the children of Israel that you sent me? Who do I say sent me?" God said, "Tell them, I am sent you. That is my name. Tell them, Yahweh, the God of their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, sent you." Moses protested a third time. He said, "God, what if they still don't believe me?" Then God said, "Okay, I will give you some signs." He said, "Throw your staff on the floor." Moses did, and it turned into a snake. God said, "Pick it up by the tail." He did. It turned back into a staff. Then God said, "Put your hand in your cloak." Moses did. When he took it out, his hand was as white as a leprous hand. God said, "Put it back." When he put it back and took it back out, his skin was restored. Then God said, "If they don't believe on account of the two signs, I'll give you a third one." He said, "Take water from the Nile. When you pour it out, it will turn into blood. If they don't believe on account of the first two, they will believe from the third one." Looks like Moses was cornered. This time he decided to plead with God. He said, "God, you know I can't talk." Moses was a stammerer. God said, "But who created the mouth of man? I will help you. I will help you talk. I will give you the words to say." This time, Moses had nothing else to complain about, so he just came clean with God. He said, "God, send someone else." Now God was upset with Moses. But God still had a solution. So God said, "Your brother Aaron is there. You will work with him. I will speak to you, and Aaron will speak for you." And this time, Moses didn't complain anymore. Thank God, Moses finally accepted the call. The other person we're going to look at is Prophet Isaiah. Prophet Isaiah had a vision at the beginning of his call. And in that vision, he saw God on his throne with the seraphim angels singing, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty." And in the vision, Isaiah said, "Doomed am I, for I am a sinful man. I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips. And I have seen the King, the Lord of heaven's armies." Then an angel took a prong and took a live coal from the fire and touched his mouth and said, "Look, you have been cleansed. Your mouth has been cleansed." Then the Lord said, "Whom shall I send? And who will go for us?" And immediately Isaiah said, "Here I am, Lord. Send me." Wasn't that remarkable? Quite different from Moses' response. So you see, many are called, but each one has a different response. Sometimes we are called, but we don't choose ourselves. Sometimes we are called and we decide that we are just unworthy. We need to remember that the person calling us is the same person who equips us, is the same person who is more than capable to give us the victory. So we mustn't trust ourselves, but we must trust our Maker, and the same person who has called us. So, dear friends, I hope when you hear the call, you will answer, "Here I am, Lord, send me." Be blessed. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.